happen.
Okay, so before we went on that break, you were talking about the need for us to buy Nigeria and
must reintegrate and come local. Look, while we're offline, you said exchange rate is not our problem. It's low productivity. Look, today, what I can safely tell you, I'm sure Mr. Naji here, I'm sure I here, everybody is in one way or the other thinking of farming or having a little farm somewhere. Everybody. It is about what this government has made us understand over the past 3 years that we must start looking back. I was giving the instance of the arid north feeding the tropic south. It's an aberration. Even the elementary economics we did in secondary school, agriculture, and what is responsible for that? I've given you the examples of our industrial estates in this country. What has happened to them? All taken over by churches. And this didn't happen in the last 3. I would even say not in the last 5 years. So that I won't even be charitable to the previous administration.
okay.
So until we change our national orientation as a people, because President Buhari, like Anyeka said, Jonathan are only 2 people out of 180 million of us. Let me give you an instance.
But they are very important
Please,
people,
as you drive out of
they
this
lay
place,
down the policy.
As you drive out of this place, look at all those vegetable farms here and there, dotted around. They now export those things. Unfortunately, all manned by persons from a certain section of the country, the north, who in their farming season all return home. The Okada riders,
they're all going home
farming.
now. They're going home already.
What is happening to us in the south? Why are we not latching on to the Anchor Borers program? Why are we not trying to make use of our own resources?
So it's not just about the government, if I understand you well. The people.
It's about us as a people.
Also need
the
to have
policies are there, the incentives are there, but how many of us are willing? I have friends who are beginning to anchor and who are beginning to access. I have recommended a few to BOI because they insist a lawyer must also sign up for you. Who are accessing loans in BOI, who are going on the... You know about the young men who are doing this farm crowding thing, which are also participating. There are a crop of young men who are farmers. Okay. And until... And a couple of days ago, I watched a documentary on BOI. BOI, and I think yesterday or 2 days ago, some farm somewhere in Abuja by a group of 3 young men who formed a consortium and started the farm from their backyard, from water tanks, fish farming.
Okay, let's go to Mr. Naji. Yes, you clearly have said this government isn't scratching Nigerians where it matters most. So we are starting the next 1 year, which will end this first term for the government. And of course, the president has said he wants to run in 2019. What would you want him to do that will touch Nigerians at the exact spots that we need that touch?
Well, you see, my problem in this country has been that even our budgets have been essay writing. They are essays because they are worthless papers. Year in, year out, the same thing happens. Whether a new government comes in, it begins to write its own essay. Even with the change, nothing has changed. It's just a paradox. The more we want change, the less change we see in the positive direction.
And while you're on this topic, Mr. Naji, yes, the 2018 budget hasn't still been passed.
I say it is essay.
And this is June.
It's essay. Now, it will lay out everybody, just like saying, asking the pupils or students in the university to write an essay about how an economy will grow. They go to economic textbooks and so on and propose theories. But that's the end of the thing. So the point is that if what made the child cry on Monday morning has not been removed, that child will cry again even on Saturday. We have a structural problem of leadership in the country. The best is not on the front burner because the bad ones have become so empowered and become so bad that they scare the good ones. This country, even as part of the so-called fight for corruption, because like I said, it is good to do corruption, bring it on the front burner. But the way we are going about it is counterproductive. Now, how many Nigerians that have done so well and they are in their millions have been celebrated by this government to show there is a change, even if nobody had done that in the past? When we say national merit, how many Okada riders that have returned money that they found lost by a passenger have been celebrated, and so on and so forth? There are so many of Nigerians that should be celebrated to encourage those ones that have been doing well and doing good to do good. And that one, when there was this Jesse, the former American governor, I think, I can't remember the state in there, but he was a wrestler. He said he was the leader of the immoral minority, and that the immoral minority will always lord it over the moral majority. And that is what the system is operating here. If you have the moral majority, when you begin to enthrone meritocracy, you celebrate those who do well. You diminish the worth of the bad ones. That is what it is. And that's the best way to fight corruption. Now, you don't fight corruption carrying gun. There is no front where corruption is on the other side and you'll be fighting. And that's why the whole fight is nebulous. So the problem we have is that the leadership has not got it right. Many of the people in positions of authority in this country, if you set an exam for them like JAMB, what is your vision of this country? They will fail because they have no idea. They will fail. Now, talk about their own mission. Because there's no vision, their mission cannot be aligned with nothing. And that's why we wobble around, we jactitate, we run around for years, nothing is happening. And with this trajectory, we can't make any progress in this country. Talking about agriculture, there have been massive investment in agriculture in the north. All the irrigation projects and so on. Structure determines function, if you agree with me. So if you put water in a bucket that is cylindrical, it will take the shape of the cylinder. So many people who were in the villages and they have no fertilizer, they don't have it, they'll leave the farming because it's just a question. And those people who have some few farms, the herdsmen will come with their heads and they finish everything. And we diminish the worth of their complaint. They all mill into the city to see whether they... So let us not trivialize these things. Security is very, very important. No, I'm just making a general statement. Now, we should not trivialize, like when people say that herdsmen or killer herdsmen or terrorists or whatever, they come into a particular location, they kill the farmers, they destroy the farm. What is the incentive for the few who escaped to go back to the farm?